At UMI Performance, we build race-proven suspension systems for all sorts of muscle cars and now muscle trucks. So we have G-body, A-body, GM, F-body, Silverados, C10s. We also have parts for the 78 Cutlass that you saw in the Season 1 build. After Season 1, we drove the Cutlass around for probably 1,000 miles on the new Stage 2 Plus suspension. I'll tell you what, it handled great, almost like a slot car. We could take it down back roads. It was really awesome. We could probably take it on power tour. The reliability was there, but it was just missing something. And that something was power. Hey Dustin, I got a solution here. Air cleaner flip.
What are you doing?
Air cleaner flip.
No, this is not high school in 1985, Ramey. Let me introduce you to a little bit of technology.
Wow, that's awesome.
How about that?
It looks like a Pace Performance LS3 495 horse with a hot cam upgrade.
I think this should go in there.
Hey, it's Ramey here at the UMI Race Shop once again with my car building teammates, Dustin House and Dave Allbeck.
This season of our G-body Cutlass build, we're going to take this car to the next level. We have a modern engine going in, transmission, Ford 9-inch rear end. We're going to have brakes front and rear, new exhaust system. We have an EFI fuel tank, also PSI wiring. We have a bunch of new UMI Performance parts going on, including our coilover kit, retro sound radio to finish it out. It's going to be pretty cool.
All right, boys, let's get to work. We know we're going to be taking the engine out of this car, obviously, so we're going to get some stuff out of the way. Starting with the hood, no sense in it being in the way.
You always want to make sure you remove the battery whenever you're working on your car. Make sure there's no electrical issues.
You know, to get the engine out, you got to take out or take off a bunch of accessories, such as your cooling system. Get that drained out. Try not to make too much of a mess. Pulling off a couple of things that don't need to be there. Having a lift is pretty nice. I'm sure a lot of people have done it. Removing an engine on the ground, I know I've done it, but having a lift is real nice, especially to get some of the stuff underneath. So we're going to drop some coolant out of this thing. And one of the things we tried to do while removing the engine is just try and keep a clean work area. It's nice to be able to do things and not worry about slipping in some antifreeze or falling down in some oil or anything like that. So while we're draining fluid in the car, we're going to take advantage of it on the lift. One thing you don't want to forget is your torque converter bolts. Separate the trans from the engine down here. We're going to take the shifter linkage off, being careful because we're going to use a couple of these pieces later. We're going to remove the starter, drop it down. It's always nice to have an extra hand and get all the wires and everything off of it and out of the way. We'll get this drive shaft off. Take it off the rear end first, and then you should be able to smack the U-joint out and pull it out the tail shaft of the transmission.
We're going to disassemble our factory cooling system, drain that out, get that pulled out of the way to make a little room.
Some of the other things we took off the engine just to make it a little lighter whenever we were pulling it out. The air conditioning pump, also the alternator. We didn't really want to vent this into the atmosphere, so we didn't unhook any hoses or anything, just kind of laid that off to the side. Lots of extra hoses and wires and clips. Make sure we got them all out of the way.
Aside from not making any power, this 260 V8 in this Cutlass also looks terrible. So hopefully we could brighten up the underside of the hood and make it look a lot more modern.
Getting some of the wiring out of the way from the starter, getting it laid out across so that we're not getting that hung up whenever we lift the engine out.
You want to take care whenever you're disassembling this heater core. Got to be careful you don't damage that. These boxes are very delicate.
Organization is also key, especially if you're not 100% sure what you're going to do with the engine that comes out. So we either trying to put some of the bolts that we took out back, or we have them labeled in bags and everything.
Now that your bell housing bolts, electrical, plumbing, they're all disconnected, you're ready to put some chains on and pull this engine out of here. Once you get this engine pulled up out of here, you're going to see you got fluid running everywhere, so you want to make sure you got a pan ready to catch any overflow, any spills. Although it looks like a V8 at 260 cubic inches, this hardly qualifies as a V8.
So obviously we're going to drop the transmission out of this thing. We got this cross member out of the way. As you can see, I've slid a sandwich bag over the end of the tail shaft. Moving the transmission back and forth, there's fluid in there, so instead of making a mess all over the floor and having to wait to catch it, just slide that bag over the end, and that'll hold all the fluid till you can get it out and properly drain the fluid. This car did not have a drain in the transmission pan. It was one of the reasons why it was leaking out the tail shaft whenever you tilt it. It really saves a big mess on the floor.
So obviously the 78 Cutlass was lacking some power, so we trusted our friends at UMI Performance to build an LS3 crate motor with a hot cam upgrade. This thing is rated at 495 horsepower, should be supremely reliable. It'll run nice and smooth, but it'll have a ton of power to motivate our Cutlass.
Now that we got the engine, the transmission out, and all the stuff out from under the hood, we're gonna get ready to start cleaning this thing up so we can start putting a couple crown jewels back in under the hood.
Dustin and Dave spent this video removing the very low horsepower 260 V8 in anticipation of installing the awesome new UMI Performance LS3. To follow along with this series, we encourage you to like and subscribe. You can also drop us a comment if you have any questions about this build. And for all other UMI related questions, check out umiperformance.com.